All right, it's Bill here, and as round 3 starts for the PDC World Championship with the last 32 players starting tomorrow, I will continue and make my bets from round 3 and make sure that I do it every day. I do have a 5-team parlay that is still going. I need Dave Chisnell to beat Gabriel Clemens, and I need Gary Anderson to beat Boris Kirschmar, and I get a nice chunk of money. And then I'm also going to lay another 3-team parlay across the round. I'm not going to bet on the days. There's not a lot of value in some of these days. Here's what we've learned so far in the championship, if you ask me. First thing, make sure you play in tournaments. And if you're going to play in tournaments, make sure you play in the early tournaments so that you get enough money to qualify for the PDC or not PDC World Championship, but the Players Championship. Peter Wright and Nathan Aspinall took a lot of time off this year on PDC or on the PDC floor tournaments. Matter of fact, Peter Wright took pretty much the entire first half of the year off. Aspinall was more in and out. Guys like Price, guys like Van Gerwen played in earlier rounds, won a tournament, and then they're good. Humphreys took some time. Cross took some time. But they played early, and they got their money. Wright didn't play at all until the end, and then he's trying to play catch-up. And Aspinall basically bailed on it. And what did we learn? Aspinall and Wright are gone. You can't... it's just lesson learned. I know more players are taking the floor tournaments off more than ever, and I get it. The floor tournaments don't offer a lot of prize money per se over a European championship, but at the end of the day, Aspinall and Wright are in the same boat. They have to qualify for European tours. They're not in the top 16 Pro Tour order of merit. Taking time off is a mistake. I don't care what it is. If you want to be a PDC World player, play early, get your money, and then if you want to take time off at the end of the year, fine, but make sure you're in that last tournament before the Worlds. Peter Wright, unfortunately, the year before had to take it off, so it really wasn't a choice. His wife was sick, but how's he been in the last 2 World Championships? Doesn't work that way. So that's one lesson learned. The next lesson learned is don't overhype young kids. Yes, Luke Littler's he's awesome. I love watching Luke Littler. I'm not going to sit here and I'm going to probably be better for Luke Littler than the rest of the nonsense that's, this guy's going to win the tournament. What stops him? Why can't he win the tournament? He's a 16-year-old kid. Now, same thing happened to Josh Rock. Anyone heard of Josh Rock last year? Josh Rock, the guy that was supposed to win the tournament, and I think was in the top, favored to win a lot of rounds. Yes, he beat Aspinall. I believe he got to the quarterfinals, but if I just take a look at it right now, to win he's 5th overall to win the whole World Championship. A 16-year-old kid is the 5th pick or 5th favorite. That is asinine and stupid. Now, you're probably saying, well, but he gets Matt Campbell, and then if he gets Matt Campbell, he gets Jim Williams, Raymond Van Barneveld. Great. At some point, he's getting Gerwin Price, Gary Anderson, Michael Smith, Rob Cross, Michael Van Gerwen, Luke Humphreys. He's going to get one of them sometime. And you got him in the 5th favorite. You got to have him favored over Rob Cross and Gary Anderson. Stephen Bunting, who's been playing well. Holy majoli, what are they doing? This hype for this kid, I'm hoping he's different. I really am. He's a great, I've enjoyed watching his games, so don't get me wrong. Just like Josh Rock, I don't mind watching his games. But how did Josh Rock do this year? How did he fare? He lost to Barry Van Peer, who's not even in his class. He couldn't hit a double. Next thing is, when I say Steve Lennon can't hit a double in a world championship, Steve Lennon can't hit a double. He somehow scraped the line of Owen Bates. He missed like 34 darts at doubles against Johnny Clayton. If I'm Steve Lennon, I don't know. I don't understand. Trust me, I know this from 3 years ago betting on this guy. He can't hit a double. He can't at the world championship. He's not very good at doubles in general. But 34 misses at a double? Holy crap. Johnny Clayton had no business winning that game, and I think he's a seed I'm certainly going to be betting against him in the next round. And again, overall, it's been kind of You got the Littler story for sure. You got, Matt Campbell getting upset on Wade. I would say Jim Williams getting a win over Peter Wright was kind of expected. I wouldn't say it was an upset. Evans over Aspinall. Yeah, sure, that was an upset. Jean Van Veen getting beaten. Probably an upset. There hasn't been a lot. And if I take a look at it, there is a couple really, really good top 32 games, for sure. Ross Smith, Chris Dobie, that's a beauty. And I think you've got a couple round of 16 games that are going to be good. Like you've got Smith against Dobie or Ross Smith, Michael Smith against Smith or Ross Smith. I think Michael Smith will beat Rasma. We'll talk about that a little bit later. You got Gary Anderson, Gerwin Price. That's going to be a doozy. You've got potential for Luke Humphreys against either Joe Cullen or Ryan Searle. That's a doozy. There's some real good games coming up. So I'm sure the last back half of this tournament will be a little bit more exciting. But let's get into the games. For tomorrow, my predictions, and I'll give you my 3-team parlay that I'm going to add on to the 5-team parlay I have. So hopefully I get the money off the 5-team parlay. I'm pretty Chisnell over Clemens I like, and I like Anderson over Kirschmar. And then I'll give you another 3 that I like going forward. Not all tomorrow. First game up, Scott Williams, Martin Schindler. I don't know what to go here. Schindler looked good. I didn't expect him to look good, and he did. Scott Williams has kind of been he's playing better than what he did during the year. Scott Williams has had a tough year. So for me, I take a look at the odds, and Scott Williams is getting good odds for this. And I think I'm going to be honest with you, I think it's a bit of a toss-up. Scott Williams on stage performs way better than Schindler. Schindler typically, he's had some good runs, but at the clutch times, he just doesn't hit the doubles. He just doesn't. So you get him plus 162 for Scott Williams. I think they're a little bit closer than that. I like those odds. So I think Scott Williams is going to win this game. I think he'll win at 4-2. I think he's going to do something to throw Schindler off a little bit. He'll do his nonsense, and I don't think Schindler reacts real well to it. The only thing that may be going in Schindler's case is the German crowd, but I don't like it. I think the German's going to have a tough day. So I'm going to take Scott Williams to win this one 4-2. Next game up, Dave Chisnell, Gabriel Clemens. Goodness gracious, Dave Chisnell. Dave Chisnell is the guy who can beat Luke Humphreys on the stage. He can beat Luke Humphreys anywhere. He's the one guy who can do it. Just doesn't get to do it on the big stages yet, but he can do it. He did Europeans. He did it on the floor. He's got Luke Humphreys' number. He's 2 wins away from possibly getting Luke Humphreys in the quarterfinal. I would love to see that quarterfinal. Although I think there's going to be a couple games that are going to be tough to get there. I think Dale Gurney is going to be a bit of a stepping stone or an opportunity for Gurney as well. But come on, Gabriel Clemens, he had the run to the semifinals last year. I don't know. There's just something about him that I don't think he's got it. I know Chisnell screws up. I know he does it all the time. I just like Dave Chisnell in this one. So again, really bad start for the Germans if my predictions happen, but I like a 4-2 victory. Next one up, Rob Cross, Jeffrey DeGraff. Jeffrey DeGraff came back against Edhouse, beat D'Souza. Again, D'Souza struggles. Rob Cross ain't going to lose to Jeffrey DeGraff. I think Rob Cross is eyeing it up. He's got a real good route with Noppert being out. He'll get the winner of Scott Williams. Schindler, which kind of lines him up. I would like him over both of them. To get a crack possibly at Michael Smith. So, or it could be Ross Smith or Chris Dobie, to be honest with you. But, Cross has got a chance to get a good run here, maybe a semifinal here. So I like Cross to win this one 4-1. I think he'll be a slow start, and then he'll fire it up in 4-1. Next game up, first game of the afternoon, Canadian Matt Campbell against 16-year-old Luke Littler. Again, I don't want to be harsh on Littler. It's not his fault that people are ranking him high, but he is a minus 350 to beat Matt Campbell. Matt Campbell ain't no slouch. Matt Campbell beat James Wade with a 95 average. And Luke Littler, a 16-year-old kid, is a minus 350 to beat him. If I take a look at the odds, here you go. Damon Hedda has less odds to beat Barry Vampire than Luke Littler does to beat Matt Campbell. It makes no sense to me at all. I think unless this kid, I don't know. Man, I hope he's surrounded by people who just can talk him back into reality. He is not the fifth favorite. I don't, like, why am I want to enjoy the game. God, I don't get it. I think Campbell beats him. And if Littler wins, fantastic. Great. But man, -3, that's a slap in the face to Matt Campbell. A professional tour player is in the top 50 of tour, beats James Wade and a 16-year-old kid, who, by the way, the Moda Super Series, Matt Campbell won it. Matt Campbell can play darts. The only thing that I'm thinking about Matt Campbell is that the crowd's going to be on Littler's side, no doubt. And I would normally say Campbell doesn't get involved in the crowd, but I did see him at the World Cup, the World Series of Darts in New York, and he was playing Alex Spellman, and he let the crowd have it. The crowd was giving it to him, and he let him have it. I don't think Campbell's going to care about the roaring and screaming. He seems to have not cared the entire time. He gets pissed off. You can tell he's a Canadian. Some guy's roaring and screaming because he hit a double 10. It's not going to make him happy, but it seems to brush it off. I don't know. Maybe the crowd gets to Campbell. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Littler wins. Don't get me wrong. I'm not betting on this one. But God, that's a slap in the face, +270. -350 to win. Jesus. Why would I take that? I like Matt Campbell to win this one 4-3. And I'll certainly be cheering for Campbell. Of course, he's a Canadian, so I'll be doing that. Next game up, MVG, Richard Veenstra. I've been really impressed with Veenstra. But the one thing that always happens, Dirk van Duijvenbode, Danny Noppert, you name it, they get MVG, they get the fellow Dutch master, and they fold. I don't think Veenstra's going to fold. I'm going to give Veenstra a set. But I think he's going to be a little awestruck. I didn't like his interview where he's like, how do you prepare for Michael van Gerwen? I don't know. Veenstra's he's a class act. He's a good operator. I'll give him a set. MVG wins 4-1. Last game up, Michael Smith, Matters Razma. Again, I took Matters Razma with the big odds and won that one. And then someone named Luke Woodhouse let me down in a 3-2 loss. But I digress. Razma's I don't think Smith's going to have 100 average. I mean, he played Kevin Dietz, who probably, he's a good speed player. Well, he's not a speed player, but Razma's going to slow it down. Razma's going to make it real slow, and he's going to make it a slog. And Smith doesn't like that. So Razma's just going to even do it more. He knows Smith doesn't like it. It'll be very slow. Smith will fire, and Razma will take his time, come from the angles, make Smith go around him or in front of him to piss him off. And I think that affects Smith. So I'm going to give Razma 2 sets here. But I think Smith's just too quality, and he'll win this one 4-2. So again, my bets, Scott Williams 4-2 over Schindler, Chisno 4-2 over Clemens, Cross 4-1 over DeGraff, Campbell 4-3 over Littler, MVG 4-1 over Veenstra, and Michael Smith 4-2 over Razma. My 3-team parlay I'm going to take Scott Williams. Scott Williams is playing +162. So I think he's the better player. I'm getting the better player at +162. I'm going to take Krzysztof Rotowski, that Polish eagle. He usually shoots me down, but he's playing Johnny Clayton on the Friday. He's getting +100. I think, again, he's in better form, better player right now than Johnny Clayton. I'm getting the better odds. And then I'm going to take Jim Williams to beat Raymond van Barneveld, -110. I think stats-wise, Williams is a better player. He's going to have to play. RVB had a great round, but again, I just think I'm getting the better player. And I'm basically going to get it for even odds. So, and it pays out 10 times my money, so I'm happy about that. So again, hopefully everyone enjoys the darts. I'll come back tomorrow afternoon to give my predictions for the Thursday session. Also, like to highlight, I got a nice little sweater for the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs play tomorrow. I'll give you a review of that game and a review. I've watched all the games while I was on the cruise. To be honest with you, didn't like what I see, but I'll give my review afterwards. All right, cheers, bye.